Top sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. More to bring in five cowboys out riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows running the show. It's High Top Sports, baby. Let's get it, let's go.
Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. You thought you missed me today, but I wasn't going to let our incredible streak of dang near 30 days of being live get ended. I just couldn't let it happen. I couldn't let it slide. Missed the morning show. Had some family duties that called, but we had some news that broke today. And we needed to discuss it. Lane Kiffin meets with his team out of the ordinary, right? Not a typical meeting that they would normally have. And I feel like it's important to discuss. We're going to talk about what was said during that meeting. If for Florida fans, should you panic? If you're Ole Miss fans, should you be excited? We're going to dive into it. And to be quite honest with you, shorthand story, if you guys just don't want to stick around and hang out with us for a bit, I don't think anything changes. I think this Saturday still plays a huge factor, okay? And we'll dive into all of that. James Franklin, we had great conversations on the panel yesterday. What an absolute blast of a time with all those guys there. With all this madness happening, we could see some pop-up panels, if you will, happening over the next couple of weeks, just because right now it's Tinsy, and we've got to be able to make sure that we're talking about anything and everything that's happening. So we talked a lot yesterday about different coaches, where Florida could be heading. Obviously, Lane was the main topic of conversation, but what really intrigues me is, where do we go if not Lane? I feel like that is an important factor that has to be discussed. We can't just sit here and think that it's done and over with, because I truly, genuinely believe the outcome of Ole Miss is going to play a huge factor in this. So until then, I can kind of see more clear writing on the wall, you got to know where else we're going to go. And so we talked about Braun, we talked about Drink, we kind of all gave our pitch on why we liked certain guys. And Franklin continued to be brought up, one by the chat, which I appreciate you guys kind of pumping that in and pushing that of like, hey, why are we just looking past a guy that was one snap away from playing in a national championship? Like, Florida fans were sitting there all high and mighty, like, we don't want James, right? We don't need Franklin. He's a goober. Well, what like, in comparison to what? Well, he's 4-21 in the big ones. Okay. I hear you, but have you looked at the 4-21? Have you looked at who he's gone up against? Now, there was an awesome tweet that I wanted to pull up, and I said this the other day. I go, if you got to look and see, what's so-and-so's record versus top 25, top 10 teams? Everyone sucks. Not named Ryan Day, Dabo Swinney, and Kirby Smart. And maybe Kurt Singetti, who's locked up for a lifetime now. Lane Kiffin isn't great. James isn't great. What makes James is so interesting to me is that it's kind of just a handful of teams that have just had his number. He's just been little bro for the last couple of years in the Big Ten. You're like, well, so that's the problem. We don't want that in the swamp either. We're gonna get after it. Okay? We're gonna talk about it. So be sure to smash the like button. Welcome, chat. Good to see you. We got Tyler Bohannon, Gator Drew, Super Bookmark, Shaq, No Look Reaper, Famous, Gator versus Anybody, The Prof, Muddy. Who else we got? Zero's in here. Stadium and Gale. James Franklin should be a name people are familiar with. I think that we've got to really look into that. And like a big thing that's intriguing about James to me as well is the financial situation of all of it. I think it's something to definitely take a look into. The guys are talking, hey, you guys don't believe Buddy. Me personally never felt that Buddy was lying or not. I think there was more of the frustration of like, why are we putting it out there? Why are we, throwing this number around? I think where some people may have got frustrated. But look, anybody has a source that feels confident enough to put an article out there. I mean, do your thing, baby. I mean, it made no difference to me. We're going to talk about it. So listen, this is why I stay where we stay. Okay. We like to chit chat. We like to talk about it. This is what we do. We stay in this lane. We let the big dogs like the Buddies and the Dans and the Del Tors and the Coreys. Those guys break the news, okay? We let them get after it, and then we react. We chit-chat, all right? That's what we do. That's how we get down with it. And then give us our thoughts and opinions about it. Now, it is intriguing, right? Because, look, that article drops, and then here we are 24 hours later, and this news drops. I'm out and about, and I go, this is juicy. And I was wondering if this would happen. I feel like it needs to happen, and this is where we're going to transition. Now, we're going to talk about Lane Kiffin for a bit. We're going to get back to James because I feel like that's an important conversation. But we're going to get to the transition to the Ole Miss situation here. it comes out that he's going to meet with the team to discuss his future at Ole Miss and surrounding all the noise. And essentially the quick verb or the quick, dissertation that was surrounding it was from Ole 3 says, Lane Kiffin told me he usually doesn't address those kind of coaching rumors in season because there's so much more football to play and there's so many bigger things to focus on. But he's actually going to do things differently today in their team meeting. He's going to address those Florida rumors with his players. He's going to talk to them about it and say, hey, this is what happens when you win. This is a compliment to our players, our staff, and our entire program. He wants to talk about his players about it because there's so many new guys on their team this year that haven't dealt with it before. Let's get in. Let's put on our glasses. Let's open up the book and let's start reading some tea leaves. Okay. This was the quote that was placed for everyone to see. Then there's paywalls to get to more of this juice. This was what was said, kind of like per Molly McGrath here, that Lane said, right? That's kind of what I'm picking up here, right? Lane told me, Lane had an opportunity right then and there to say, I'm going to let them know we are good to go. I ain't going nowhere. But he didn't. Now, there's other articles that are saying that he told the team that, hey, I will be retaining my time here at Ole Miss. How can you not? You're going to go into that meeting and the first kid that raises his hand goes, so, hey, coach, you staying? He's like, yeah, man, I'm not going anywhere. He's going to tell them that, as he should. Just like, hey, son, are we almost there? We're 5 minutes away, buddy. You look at the damn clock. We got 3.5 hours, big fella, but we got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Did I lie to him? No, we just stretch truth out a little bit, okay? We're almost there. We're almost there. The fact that he had an opportunity because he knew this was going to be the verb that gets out, the verbiage that gets out. No, all like very, very loose-lipped here, in my opinion. With there's just new staffers, and I want to make sure they understand that we've got bigger things to focus on. I agree. I think it's an important meeting to have. I think you need to have it. I think the noise is just so loud. You got to understand where you're at Ole Miss. You got to understand who you guys are and what you've got coming up this weekend, and it's very easy to get sucked into the rat poison. So, as I mentioned before, I don't think this changes anything because somebody posted again. This casual Rob clipped it from the article. It says Kiffin was distracted, so it seems as if Kiffin is in Oxford to stay as far as his communication with them. Awesome. Again, it's what it seems like, right? That's how it feels. I don't know. Here's another little tidbit that I like from this article. When I asked him about the leverage that these job openings create for him, he said, him being Lane, I'm never going to make a decision based on money, which we've said that. I have slammed the drum home on that. Will money be a big factor in the sense that it's going to be a splashing deal? Yes. But I've always said that money's not a factor because everyone's going to give it to him. So it's genuinely going to come down to where do you want to coach at, right? I'm going to make a decision based on everyday happiness. Now, if you're a Florida fan, you're like, yo, we get a little rowdy. we may not provide you everyday happiness. Now, the great days are great. But I'll tell you what, boys, if it gets bad, it's bad. All right, listen. Go ask the last for you. I'm just calling, hey, we're just keeping it a buck, boys, all right? I'm just letting y'all know. Y'all know what's up with it. He go win 9 games on miss, and he'll be happy. He's not getting death threats. I'm just, hey, don't yell at me. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? And you can tell he's really trying to prioritize his family and his kids in this one, which is important. I know his daughter has been talking about where she wants to go to law school. Obviously, Knox is playing good football there. Great opportunities in Florida to come play. But I will say, Kiffin really idolizes legendary former Gator coach Steve Spurrier. And when I covered Ole Miss game at Florida last year, Kiffin pulled me aside and said, this is a really special place for me and my family. So we had his first date with his children's mother. So Gainesville is a nostalgia place for the Kiffin family. Perhaps I'll play a role in it, into it, but right now they're just focusing on Ole Miss and the Rebels and their players telling me they wouldn't be able to tell Kiffin if Kiffin was distracted. So it seems as if Kiffin is in Oxford to stay as far as his communication with the team. That's the gist of the article. All right, those are the quotes from the article from people and from sources. So again, I'm going back to what I've been saying this whole time. One, money to me is not been a factor. Okay. It's going to come down to where do you genuinely want to be happy and play. And I think if you're Lane and the family where they're at, it's like, hey, do we want to go to Florida? We know we could have some fun and we love it there and it's very nostalgic for us. Do we want to go there and possibly look? I'm talking this out loud. This conversation, I'm sure they've already had, so don't get mad at me. But I'm playing the game here, boys. Okay, pros and cons list. If I'm Lane, I'm sitting down with the wifey. I'm like, hey, this place is special to us. We could possibly ruin what's a special place to us if we go there and it doesn't work out. Is it worth that kind of risk? But then the wife's going to come in and say, listen, this place is always going to hold a place, near and dear in our heart, regardless of the outcome. Because just like this coaching job may entail, which is trials and tribulations our relationship has, and guess what? At the end of the day, we still love each other and we still rock and roll here. So just get me in the room, wifey. Okay, I'll close this damn deal quick, baby. I'll close it quick. So I really genuinely feel that it comes down to the wins and losses of this season. The more losses they acquire, the less focused this team will come. The more this fan base will spiral out of control because they'll feel that he's quit, right? Whether it's true or not, that's what they'll point to. That's what they'll lean on, right? So, we'll see. But again, it could get extremely loud with a loss to Oklahoma this week. In my opinion, a loss turns into mayhem come Monday. A win, we could see something signed. Like, that's how crazy this Saturday could be. Muddy says, it's weird. Why would a head coach tell his team, hey, I'm leaving for Florida during a week 8? Never been done. I don't think the media is blowing this up. Or he's staying at Ole Miss. No, I don't think there's anything to look into this. I think he's doing what he should do as the head coach of Ole Miss. If like that's reassuring to me. Like, the guy is focused on the task at hand. He's a businessman. He understands that there's other opportunities. But look, I was still hired to be the coach at Ole Miss. That's what I'm going to be today, tomorrow, and for the foreseeable future. Now, when the opportunity comes for me to make an actual decision to move from Oxford, Mississippi to Lanesville, Florida, then I will have that conversation. But until then, my job, I was brought in to be the head coach of Ole Miss. So, and I love that. Like, that's what it should be. It's our job to talk about it. It's our job to cause a distraction. And sometimes the kids can get sucked up into that. And to ask them, like, hey, are you going to be here? Look, right now I want to be here. But let's say in a month, I've got things that I want to get across and somebody doesn't want me here. So I can tell you one thing and something may change in 30 days. And I think that's where it all boils down to. But I felt like I needed to address it because, some people probably saw this as Florida fans and panicked. I think Ole Miss fans saw this and felt excited. Some people be like, I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm enjoying it. It's fun talking about it. This is what, this is what we do. We talk. You know what I mean? There's a microphone in front of me. So that's how it works. That's how it works. When is as soon as we find out he wants to be a Gator? Well, as soon as I feel like you've already found out he wants to be one. I don't think this smoke would be as loud as it is if there wasn't the slightest inkling that the Florida job is sexy to him. Because look, if it wasn't appealing to him, he shuts it down already. Marcus Freeman shut it down pretty dang quick. Marcus Freeman had an agenda with what he was trying to do. We talked about that the other day too. So, real quick though, 600 people in here. So let's smash that dang like button, okay? Let's get absolutely sexy with it and do the dang thing. And show your love and appreciation. Much warranted. Much warranted. Look, I think that is the hugest part. And again, I don't think he should squash it. As a business person, like, and again, he's a troll. Like, there's so many avenues here because I think Lane, there is the part where someone's going to be the butt of the joke. And you just don't know who it's going to be. It could be you, it could be Ole Miss. And you don't know. So, could he squash it all? Yeah, but Lane loves the attention. Lane loves to be next to the sun. This is the sun. This is another turmoil that Lane is putting himself in, another hoop, if you will, that Lane has to figure out how to jump through, how to manage through. He could just say, hey, I'm not leaving, and either lie, right, or shut it down, but no. Let it play out. Let's float to the sun. Let's see. Let's see if this fan base, let's see if they're about it. Let's test these boys if they come out on Saturday and give us all the smoke. I don't know where the game is at, but either way, you get the point. I think Lane's that much of a psycho that he genuinely enjoys the chaos that is ensuing from all of this. And wants to see how it shakes up, wants to see how this thing plays out. I mean, I'm just letting you know. And there's the psychoticness that I love about Lane. That's what I like about it. All right. That's what I like about it. $5. Shelton's wearing Mossy Oak, Ole Miss, Plains. Oh, I didn't even think about it. Oh, no. Listen, if Lane stays, I'm leaving. $5 from Dang It Big. Come here, and being successful makes you a top coach in the country, and maintaining success makes you one of the GOATs. Agree. And I think that's what Lane's looking at of like, hey, we could go down to Lanesville and, get after it. Let's do this question really quick because I love this a lot. We talked a little bit last night. And again, this is why I love talking to different people. Because I get an echo chamber, right? I mean, I'm in this little world and we're just bouncing things back and forth. And I think that, everybody, Dan, Dave, and Corey and Dan all brought so many great things to the table. Nick pushed out, as we all know, so I didn't get to hear his thoughts. But hearing not only them just say a name, but have a reason for it, as I have my reasons. And I like to be challenged. I liked for my status quo to be pushed. Like that, I actually, I reach for it. I try to get after it. Sometimes the chat doesn't, will push back a little bit, but when you can't articulate yourself through the chat enough, it's not enough pushback. It's easy for me to talk over you. Look, me and Cody, we have back and forth, but as we've seen the dialogue between Cody, it's easy sometimes for me to get Cody back into the wall, even if he's right. I could talk him into a wall sometimes. So, but when he feels very, very confident, he can get after me. He just has to feel confident in it. But I love being challenged and pushed, and these guys challenged me last night with their thoughts and their names, and I really appreciated it. So Trusted Mortgage here says, I know you like Kingsbury. What are your thoughts about Lincoln Riley? Here he is looking for a USC exit. So we talked about this last night, and I loved it because if you would have asked me 3 years ago, Lincoln Riley, me and Cody actually had an awesome conversation that never aired about who the top 5 coaches in college football were at this time, and Lincoln Riley was mine. And I believe that he was. I don't think my take was wrong. I think that he has just spent the last 3 years debunking that, but he was. Without a question, he was. A couple of Heisman under his belt, very successful at Oklahoma. Nothing pointed away that he wasn't. Now, obviously, it looked like he ran away from competition from going, because obviously Oklahoma will be headed to the SEC. He goes, I don't want the smoke. I'm out. I'm going to USC. And it felt like USC gave him everything. They gave him the key to the land, money, housing, everything, and it just has not worked out. It has been an atrocious experiment and experiment at USC. And I found out last night that he's not happy there, which I was unaware of. I thought he loved it. And he's peace. Whatever their thing is. And so that kind of changed my tone a little bit of like, look, if you're not happy where you are and you just don't have the firepower like you once did, that could play a huge factor of not having enough success. Now, the things that concern me, he held on to Grinch too long, very Mullen-esque like, held on to a defensive coordinator that just didn't need to be there, obviously made changes now. And it's gone through some quarterbacks. Hasn't really had the success at quarterbacks. Miller Moss leaves him, goes to, where's Miller Moss at now? Where's Miller Moss? Come on. He's at Louisville with Jeff Brom, right? Having success. The guy they've got now, though, he's doing well. Played a great game against Notre Dame. Fought hard, just wasn't able to get it done. Again, falling short once again. They have the number 1 recruiting class right now. They have spent their ass off to get that class. Will it stick? I don't think so. And none of them have. I liked him a lot, though. I don't hate it. I like him more than Cliff, I think. Good question, though. Good question. These are all great stuff. Hey, 700 in here. Y'all know what to do. I've been trying to hit 30,000 subs. That's my goal for the end of the year. I didn't think it was possible at one point, but we have been on an absolute historic run as of late. I got itchy nose here. And now all of a sudden it feels within reach. We're at 27.3. So we got to have a hell of a month and go and do some historic type stuff. December, though, can be a historic type of month because of the coaching hire. So if we're set up for success, we could hit it, and I would be through the roof. I would be through the roof. So if you're watching, you're not subscribed, that would be a huge favor for me. It mean a lot. Again, the ultimate goal is we just want plaques, and then I'll retire. Black Pines Labs. Lane's first date with the mother of his children was in the swamp. Lane's a Gator, even if he hasn't realized it yet. Listen, I hear you, Bubba. The Boykins, $5. I think I need you to subscribe. Boykins, I think you. I mean, I just gave you the spiel. I think you do too, and turn the dang bell on because you never know when we're gonna rock and roll. Yeah, this number. So I've heard 13.5 for 8 years. It was like 81 million. Is a number being thrown around? It's a crazy number, and I'm not surprised. I knew we talked about it with Allie and Dave the other night on Sunday. A number was kind of tossed out there, and we go, look, like this doesn't surprise me. We always knew it was going to be a massive one. We always knew it was going to be a big one, you know. So we'll see. High Top Sports subbed, baby. Give me some good news, please. UFO alum class 2020. Well, hell yeah, man. I mean, I don't have any good news at the moment. All right, I mean, we're working towards it, but can we talk about James for a minute, guys? Can we gather around the fire? All right, or the water cooler. It's kind of cool out though, so we're gonna gather around the campfire. Shout out to the Boykins becoming a member. Join the Discord, Bubba. It's Buck Wild in there as of late. 38 months of membership, my man. 38 months. Roller coaster boys and all kinds of weather. Hell yeah, Creek Gator. Let's gather around. Let's chit chat, okay? Because look, I've been on this train of like hell no to James, but that might not. It might be just a hubris type of thought process. I mean, right? What is it that we don't like about about James? Excuse me. Is the fact that he's won 10 games? See, look. No, we don't want James, and I get it, but we saw Stadium Miguel at the beginning of the show say you need to get familiar with James. We talked about it last night, where a lot of the other guys, Corey, Dan, James was their second guy. It was not mine, but then I got to thinking, I was like, you know what? Well, maybe. You know, I know he's 4-21 in big games. Well, go look at the rest of the football league. Okay? They're in the same boat. From a financial standpoint, it actually looks very appealing. There's no buyout. There's no throwaway money with James. And you got to think, because of how he was fired, right? Might make it a little bit cheaper. Look, this is a great question too. You want a fired coach? I mean, sometimes it's how it works. Do you think Penn State should have fired him? I mean, somebody's going to get a fired coach. I mean, Lane Kiffin was fired. Somebody picked him up. I mean, you know what I mean? So pull up his big game. So that was what I was trying to do earlier. Trying to go through, like, okay, he's 4-21 in top 10 games. What do those losses look like? Okay? So we go back to last decade, last 3 games. Lost in 2023, lost to Ole Miss and Michigan. Year before that, 2 losses. Michigan, who I think won the national championship that year, and Jim Harbaugh. Stick with me here. And Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart. So right now he's these 4 big losses. 3 of the 4 were from national champions. So you're coming just short to the national champion, right? And mind you, if playoffs, because again, Ryan Day would have been in the same predicament if it wasn't for the 12-team playoffs. James Franklin had to go and do what Ryan Day and Jim Harbaugh did their years they won this year, and that was where I think there's a major question marks, right? But if Ryan Day doesn't have a 12-team playoff, he's a fired coach looking for a job. That would be very appealing to a plethora of people. A plethora of people. My point of it is the majority of these big losses are from 2 teams. And 2 of them were national champions. And Jim Harbaugh had a hard time getting over the hump too. You kind of just met at the head. It was a 3-way battle between you, Ryan, and Jim. And 3 coaches trying to, like literally 3 coaches trying to win the big one. And it was like, who's going to get it first? That's what it was. That's what it was. And I want to say he played, actually probably during his time, he played to play Urban too, if I'm not mistaken. So, look, it's one of those things where, like, us Florida fans, we're kind of yelling about it, but I'm like, it's not as egregious as a hire as we all want to think, because Drink has the same problems. And you may know, well, I'm not saying I want Drink either. Okay, well, let's look at Brom. Brom hasn't been tested as much. Brom hasn't had the same type of headway battles. We heard last night, he's not the nicest of guys. How would he recruit? We probably wouldn't bend over and land us a top 10 class because he's not going to be willing to spend some money like we would like him to do. The thing that Corey said to me last night that I was very intrigued by, and he was right, as that James has been aggressive and tried to always make changes. He went out and hired the highest paid defensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator that just won a national champ. He snatched the best defensive coordinator in football from Ohio State. Now, Ohio State went and got Matt Patricia and said, hold my beer, all right? Kudos to them. But it's not like James didn't try to do it. It wasn't like James let his hubris get in the way of his decisions. Those are things that I like. And he sniffed the sun. He's tasted it. He's played in hostile environments. He's also been kicked in the nards. All these other coaches, Brom, Drink, Brent Key, there's risk there. There's going to be fallouts from those guys. We just haven't seen it to the extreme that we saw it in James, because those guys didn't live next to the light as much as James Franklin had on a regular basis. Let's call it what it is, right? So I hear you guys all yelling hell no to James Franklin. I appreciate y'all's thoughts, but I think there was great conversation about it yesterday, and I'm like, we might be a bit over the top if we are just sitting here just saying no. Like, we're saying no to James like it's John Gruden. John Gruden is a hell no. Like, stop saying John to me. That's asinine. That's a waste of a name, okay? James isn't in that category. He's just not. That's just crazy. Marcus Freeman. We love Marcus. Do we all agree, chat? Yes? Well, no, we like Freeman. Well, Freeman lost 2 big ones this year. Freeman dropped a crazy one last year. Freeman lost some big ones last year, too. Hello? Sure, it's not 4-21, but what is it, like 2-6? I'm just saying. No need to yell. No need to yell. Couple super chats. Are the chats yelling at each other or me? I can't tell. Super chats are flowing. I appreciate y'all. Martha Beers, $2. Thank you, Martha. $2. And then we got Cody Apple here. Says $10. I think we need to relax. The coaches we want to say no. Franklin would honestly not be a bad option. His big record is not sexy, but maybe a change of scenery can get him over the hump. Agreed. Skylar Williams, $5. No income tax in Florida, so really Lane will make more money, more than base salary. Look at the 2-time champs Florida Panthers. Those are great points. I don't think money is a factor, Skylar, but those are more reasons why Florida is a very appealing place to come coach. No question. The Boykins here, $5. It's simple to me. Drink is the only SEC proven other than Lane. There are go coaches, but can they coach in the SEC? Look, I like this. I like this take. This is a great take. I do believe the Big Ten has made leaps and bounds and strides of level of competition, and it's in that category of, like, you're saying, like, hey, James can't come compete. I think James would come and run some circles around some guys. Would he have trouble with the likes of Kirby? Yeah, that's the entire country, so he will. Would he have trouble with Lane? I don't think he'd give Lane some run. We have trouble with Caleb DeBoer. Maybe with the right talent, he could get it done. I don't know. Those are the things we don't know. Recruiting up to Penn State, you're getting good talent, but are you getting Florida talent? You getting Texas talent? $5. Are the offers made to multiple coaches at once, or do they stick with one until they get an answer? Zero, that's actually a great question that I have no clue on. I don't. Callie, are you yelling at me, Callie Burbia? He's yelling at me. Because you love Gruden. You can be wrong about Gruden, and I'm right about it, and we can be okay. $5. Hear me out. Hire Franklin. Let me be the face for cheap. Spend the rest of the money on whatever OC and DC you want. Again, this is where I think that Franklin fits very well is that I think that he'll be expensive, but he's not going to be $13.5 million. And it's not like we can't afford it, but you also don't want to put yourself in a situation where you are overspending. You don't want to be coach poor. All right. We always hear house poor. We don't want to be coach poor either. Now, we've seen plenty of schools get out of these things. I don't know if this next one, how easy it would be to get out of. Genuinely. It would be a little bit more of egregious here. Ira Jones, $5. James Franklin gets hired. We're in the same boat that Penn State was in. If he's hired 10 years from now, Urban Meyer will still be the last to win a natty. Hear me out, Ira. If you're saying that we're going to be in the same boat as Penn State, meaning we are one game away from playing in a national championship, where do we sign? Because all I need is a bounce. I just want to be in the room. I don't think James loses that game. Lost to a really good coached football team in Notre Dame. Beat some good football teams to get there too, though. Football's a game of inches. It's got to bounce one way or the other. But I hear your point. $20, Sean, my man. James Franklin is an easy number 2 for me. Thank you for articulating what I was getting at in the panel super chat. They all got issues. Big Q question for Franklin. How do you fix offense? Big Q for Lane. How do you fix defense? And that's what every person you go through, it's going to be, what are we fixing? How can we fix it? They are all going to have it. They are. That is a fact. Number 1, Lane. Number 2, Monty. And number 3, Kiffin. Lane, Monty, Kiffin. I was reading it separately. But Boss Hog says, I write Big Dog because I'm old and blind, Sheldon. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think Callie Berry is mad at me. It's all right. It'll be okay. Cody Apple. Last name is not Apple. Say a Pale. Okay. Got it. Don't worry, buddy. Everyone says Apple. Love what y'all do. God bless and congrats on the baby. Thanks, man. Thanks for the $5 just for me to say your name properly. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Come on down, baby. Come on down. Come on down. Well, great little pop-up show here on this Friday night, keeping the streak alive. Had some great conversations. Again, the Marcus Freeman thing I wanted to allude to a little bit. We talked about it last night. I think he was spot on with a lot of people are trying to, and again, it's kind of part of the game of he said, hell no. I spoke about it like a week and a half ago when I spoke with my person of like, hey, who are we looking at? And they're like, look, I think Freeman's just using us as leverage. And then that's kind of what it ended up being anyways. And kudos to him. I mean, he's in a good place in Notre Dame. It never really felt like he was going to be leaving. It seems like Ohio State is where he wants to be. I don't see Ryan Day going anywhere anytime soon. They're out there just rolling, quietly getting it done undefeated right now with a possible Heisman candidate and at the helm there. So we'll see. Yeah, listen, a lot of people say Coach Prime. Look, I love Coach Prime. I think what he's doing in Colorado is great. There has been some concern. He's frustrated me this year. Big win over Iowa State, but there's a lot of the same nuances and coaching issues that I've seen over the last 3 years watching him that I want to see get cleaned up. I also think that there's some major health issues there that I'm genuinely concerned about. I hope he's okay, but I mean, this man's fighting for his life, and I really wonder how much longevity he truly, genuinely has, to be honest with you. $2. Much love, Sheldon. Would love to talk to you. Roll with calls. Absolutely, man. I'll hit you up, man. I saw your message the other day, man. I've been waiting to get back. I like to leave it unread, so I know to get back to it. I will get back to you to get on the show for sure, man. For sure. Sheldon Hypen Franklin makes me think he's number 2 choice. SS is making. I don't know who his number 2 is. And here's the thing. I hear stuff like everybody else, but I try to stay away from it, to be honest with you. Like when you hear when I'll ask Dan and I'll ask people what they're hearing. That's when I hear it. I don't like to kind of get it behind the scenes. You can ask Swoter. When Swoter was like talking to me about stuff, I was like, hey, if for whatever reason we find out that Lane is in, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I want to have fun with everyone else. Like that's where I like to live. Because I want to have a thought process and think through this with all of you and give you a genuine response and not have to, think about what I'm going to say so I don't say the right thing or wrong thing. I don't have the end of like, hey, of these things. I listen to people who are close, and then I kind of listen to what they're saying. Dan said at the beginning of the show, hey, get familiar with it. So that makes me believe that he could be a good number one choice. I'm not hyping him up or doing anything because that may or may not be true. I'm just sitting here talking because I've kind of brushed him to the side, but I was like, maybe, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself from pushing him that way. And we've had great conversations about great coaches. And so that's all that I'm doing is like, hey, we should all do this. We should do our own vetting, our own due diligence of like, hey, what would be a good option? Right? What do we feel like genuinely content with? What 4 names? Like, obviously we know the tiers, but if we had what's best case, okay case, we'll work with this case, and then like, hey, whoa, and that's kind of all that I'm doing. That's all that I'm doing. So we got an update on our brother in South Africa. I haven't heard from him. No, I mean, it's not like we're not pen pals. Oh, brother. All right, man. Well, listen, there's 800 of you here rocking and rolling. I much appreciate the love and support. Like I said, we're trying to get to 30,000 subs by the end of the year, excuse me. We got just a little bit of like basically 2 months to get there. Is it possible? 1,000 subs a month, like about 1,200 subs a month? Hey, I've seen crazier things. You don't know if you don't ask. So smash it, like it, do all the good stuff. We trust you over any Gator Media. We need you in the know. Listen, I like being in the know, and I appreciate the compliment. I don't mind knowing. There are some things that I want to know, and I definitely have conversations about, and I'm aware of. But when it gets to like certain things, I try to like for how I look at it is like it doesn't benefit knowing, because I think when you get that close to the fire, you really don't know what's going to happen, and it's like I know enough. I know where the eyeballs are at. That's all I need to know. And so let's talk about where the eyeballs are at. Those eyeballs shift, we'll shift. But I don't want to know about like the details because I like to talk it through like all of us. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. So I hope you guys appreciate that. If not, I get it. Tomorrow, I think we're going to do a watch party for this Ole Miss game because I feel like it's worth it. I do. We usually always do the Gators, but tomorrow, 12 o'clock, might have to. Y'all be good. Peace and love, baby.
Sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. Water bringing fire, cowboy out riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows
Running the show.